Mike Halbin here with Jewelry Ecomm. We've got Jackie Slone here to do her presentation. And if you have any questions at all during the presentation, just feel free to drop your questions in the chat, and either she could read it, or if she can't see, I'll read off the questions to her. So Jackie, it is all yours.
Hey guys, so my name is Jackie Slone. I've been in the jewelry business for 17 years, and I am here to talk to you about how to hype up your social media. So this is something that has taken me a long time to learn, and I'm really happy to share my little tricks with you. So my presentation may not be 45 minutes long, but I'm going to do the best I can. And again, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me in the chat rooms later on, and I'll try to answer them to the best of my ability. And here we go. All right. I'm going to share this little screen with you. All right, so let me get some of these icons closed out. So the name of my company is Socially Studios, and today I'm going to talk to you about how to sell and market through social media. So social media, that's such a broad term. You can be talking about Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, even people are using LinkedIn to do their marketing. So let's get started, and we'll see where we go. Let's see. Okay, so we're going to talk about exploring different channels. And again, I talked to you about the different ones. Some of the key findings, I'm going to show you some examples of some posts that I put out there. And then I'm going to teach you how to increase your audience. Because if you do not increase your audience, there's no point of doing anything. If you are a jeweler that is back there and has 500 followers, it makes no difference how much you post if only 5 people are going to see them. So here we go. So making it big online. So can we call social media online? I think so. And the most important thing is, do you have an audience to share your content with? You can post all day long, but if you have a limited audience, your post will rarely be seen. How are you building your following? What is the incentive for people to follow you? You know, people want to make sure that their time is managed and they're doing things that they want to do. There's got to be incentive for somebody to follow you, even on Facebook. So I'm going to teach you about some incentives that I have done that have worked, 200, 300 times over to allow us to increase followers through some independent jewelry stores. So increasing your audience on all platforms. I just wanted to get this out there really quick. It's a little bit off topic, but if you are already posting on Facebook, make sure that you are using your other social media accounts and that they are linked. That way, when you're posting, it's cross-posting and you're not going to 2 different platforms to post. I mean, it takes care of itself for you. Also, this is just common sense, but I've seen this happen so many times when I go in to try to take over somebody's social media or try to help them with it. Anytime you have somebody, an employee in your store that has your social media passwords and they change the accounts, you need to know that every single time. If they change those passwords or the account names or anything like that, and then they were to up and leave, you're kind of lost. It's like going through like a brick wall to be able to get those passwords again. So the first thing I want you to take from this is make sure that you and whoever helps you with your social media has the passwords. And if they are ever changed, that those passwords are shared with you. So that was just easy, just something that would be common sense, but I see it happen a lot. All right, if you can see this here, it's just a generic post, and it's called, I named it Your Store Content. So what I would do if I were you is I would actually make up a post like this. So it says enter to win. Let's just say for the sake of everything that I'm focusing on Facebook here. Facebook is the easiest platform for people to use that are not familiar with social media. So what you're going to ask people to do is like, share, and follow you on Facebook for a chance to win. When I said that people need rewards and a reason to follow you, this is the reason. So you're going to offer them some kind of prize for doing this. I mean, it does not have to be a lot. If you're a jeweler and you're buying something at cost, it can be $100 cost item that looks like a $300 retail item to them, and they think they are winning the lottery if they win something like this. All you have to do, the customers, in order to be able to be entered to win your entered in your contest, they have to like, share, and post on Facebook, as well as follow you. So you need to make sure they're doing all those things. If they're not sharing this post to their friends, it's really not going to increase your audience by much. So, and then we talked about, I'm lost screens. There we go. We talked about the grand prize. It can be something, a piece of jewelry in your item, but I really, really like to work with local places around where I live. I live in a town with a population of 25,000 people. Of those 25,000 people, these are local people, and I know so many of them. So many of them own small businesses here in my community, and the community likes to see, and your followers like to see, that you're supporting other community businesses. So for a prize, I love to throw in $100 gift certificate to a local restaurant. And when you do that, you let that local restaurant know, and you're going to kind of be cross marketing with them. So you're going to be helping them out. You're going to be helping the community out, and you're giving away something of value that, your local community likes to see. So let's move on. Where do I start? And you remember, for the sake of this, we're talking about Facebook today. Facebook is user-friendly. You should pick the most user-friendly platforms to start. I'm sure that each of you have a Facebook page, but we're going to talk about what it takes to build up your audience. Your first goal should be increasing people who like, share, and follow your page. This takes 3 to 6 months. This does not happen overnight. So you need to get started now. So when the slow season, the summer starts, you've got an audience out there that you can reach and engage with. So, and then you're going to present your products or services. Begin sharing posts that are daily, that ask a question to your audience. Don't just post a product and a price. That's garbage, really. People don't want to see it. They're going to think it's spam. What you're going to do is ask a question. Do you like this ring or that ring? Halo, no halo. Round solitaire or pear-shaped solitaire. Keep your customer involved, or your future client involved. They want to see things like that on their page. They want to feel like they have a vested interest and are helping you in some way. So make sure that you are using engaging questions on your page daily. People will really participate in that. And sometimes you can even do a little contest that's, let's say, vote for your favorite ring, and we're going to pick one winner, and they're going to win a $50 gift card. Just make sure there's always an incentive and always a way for customers to be able to respond to it. But also make sure that you're responding to every customer. Make sure that when they put a post, a comment on your page, that you are responding to that comment in a positive manner. But you should respond to every single comment. As we get to talking about all the things that you need to do, I think that you're going to really find that your social media person, whether it be the store owner or a staff member in your store, that's all their job is going to consist of. It's a strong, powerful platform, but you can't expect your marketing person, who's going to be doing it efficiently, to also work the floor. I did work for an independent for quite a while, and with that independent, I did the marketing, but I would come off the floor to do a diamond presentation or a remount, something that took a little bit more skill than some people, are able to do, able to help with. I did come out for those kind of things, but, those were big sales. I wasn't waiting on a $50 Pandora customer all day long. The salary that I was being paid was more effectively used to be able to post on social media. So whether you hire it out, or do it yourself, or have somebody on your staff do it, just remember that it's a full-time job and you can't expect them to do everything. And then here we're going to get into the fun part. Start posting items. So begin posting items that you want to push. Do not post $10,000 items immediately. You will scare some of your customers. Try to be appealing to everyone and post items from low cost fashion lines, and then you will be able to post those higher end pieces. So you can post those low cost pieces. I'm not sure who out there carries fashion lines in their store, but the store that I recently worked for carried Kendra Scott, it carried Julie Voss, it carried Pandora, so which is my least favorite thing to ever get involved in. But we had all of these channels, and you don't necessarily make a lot of money off those customers. I mean, by the time the companies put those pieces on sale, you bought them and then they have a 2.5% markup, and then by the time you're getting your discounts through there and they're being clearanced out, you're really not making any money. And if you are, it's very little off those products. They're just to bring people in your store. So people are afraid when they go into a jewelry store, especially since nobody posts prices, which I think is a huge mistake, but nobody posts prices. So people are intimidated. They don't know what they can afford, but bringing them in there with these fashion lines that they can also, look at online and say, oh, that's a $50 necklace. Great. Let me go down to our local store and buy that because I'm helping them. Well, when they come in for those things that you've posted online, these Kendra Scott pieces, these Julie Voss pieces, or whatever you may have, it also gives you the opportunity to introduce them to the product that you have in your store. So posting on social media isn't necessarily just about posting things for you to sell right then and there. It's about drawing people in the store. That's the whole purpose of it, especially for a jewelry store. So begin by closeout merchandise. I don't know about any of you all, but there's a lot of closeout merchandise in these stores. And when I say closeout merchandise, dead merchandise. It's just taking up real estate. People want to see good deals. They do. And they'll naturally buy. Who goes into a store and buys a sweater that you maybe only like a little bit, but you're like, man, that's such a great deal. I have to have it. And you buy it. That's me. Like, weekly. Okay. So people are just like that with jewelry. Post those pieces that you've had for a long time. But what I want you to be sure that you're doing is that it's merchandise that you've had for at least 2 years or more. Make sure to increase the retail price of these products if they have not seen a price change to reflect the current market. You're going to want to really make sure you do that, because we're going to go into this discounting. Discounting may not be in your business model, but you might need to make some concessions. If it's taking up real estate, it hasn't sold in 2 years, it's time to offload it. People want the good deals, and it's time to give those good deals and make your money back and more. So take those old paid for inventory items and turn them into cash flow for your store. Don't forget about the 80-20 rule. 80% of the merchandise sits while only 20% is being sold. I've seen it time and time again. That's income for you. That should make you happy. It wasn't a bad buy for you if you can get rid of it, even if you're just getting costs out of it. Hopefully you're not getting costs out of it. Hopefully you're getting much more, but you get my point. Think to yourself, why has this piece not sold? Is this style outdated? Is it priced too high? Is it something that I bought and loved when I should have been more consumer driven when I purchased it? We do that all the time. I do that. This Christmas, I talked, somebody into buying this fantastic necklace. I loved it, but I loved it. Nobody else loved it. So now I have a necklace that I love, but nobody else was going to buy it in the store. So sometimes we make those mistakes and we buy what we like and not necessarily what the customer likes. So, when you were, looking at the preview for this, I sold about $400,000 in inventory during during Christmas time, but quite a bit of it through the COVID, shutdown. We were closed for 2 months, so we had to make sure that we were still relevant. When I went to discount these pieces, I would discount them 40 to 70% off. Remember, these are old pieces. Don't become too vested in them. That they're not your children. You need to get rid of them so you've got cash flow coming through, so you can buy the things that your store needs to pay your payroll, to do those things. So here's a really good example of a post. It's pretty basic. It's important to keep your post generic and create a sense of urgency. Like like this comment, there is only one. First to call the store now and pay is the new owner. You don't have to take a PayPal payment, through Facebook or a Facebook payment. Your customers, especially if you're focusing on your local market, they'll pick up the phone and they will call you. Actually, everybody had my cell phone number. It was out there for everybody to use. Everybody had the owner's cell phone number. Everybody called and texted. So if we posted something, most people were just texting us and saying, I'll take it. So, look at this one. This is a 14 karat white gold with 18 karat gold accent Swiss blue topaz ring. This is just an example. It's nobody's brand. It was just something I threw on here. Size 7. Was $17.99, now $8.99. I, as a matter of fact, know what this piece was bought for, and we're still making a decent profit off of it. But look, I put only one. That creates a sense of urgency. Everything you do on Facebook should create a sense of urgency. So, but I am clear about things. There's nothing worse than posting a ring, and you're going to laugh. Somebody needs a size wagon wheel, size 11, or somebody needs a size 4, and the ring can't be sized there. So you need to be clear in your comments. They can only be sized between a 6 and an 8. Don't make promises that you can't keep, because when you go to repurchase this merchandise to make things right with the client, you are not going to get it at that same price, especially if it's old merchandise. So that's just one example. Okay, new product. Online product launches are very successful on Facebook. Once your audience begins following you, they want to see everything that you offer. They become your friends. They feel vested. They're taking ownership in your store and become comfortable with you. They want to know what else you have. There's absolutely no better way to launch a new product than by having an online debut of your new pieces or lines that you're carrying in the store. Every season, when you have a fashion line, you should be saying exclusive first rights to the people that are our Facebook followers. And then you do a live presentation of it. So, and they are going to call because they've been waiting on these pieces. If you make it exciting for them, if you make it special for them, they are going to buy. So make sure that you are doing, especially during this time of COVID, let's go to the next one, creating events. So you need to plan for these. You need to have that online diamond stud sale. You need to have that online virtual remount show. Drop your diamond off. We'll do a Zoom call. We'll do a FaceTime. We'll set up appointments, and we're going to do a remount show for you, even though you can't be in the store. I don't know about you, but the stores around here are open again. Some our restaurants are with limited capacity, but retail's fully open. So, you just want to make sure that you're planning events online as well as, what you would have done in the store. You're not going to have these trunk shows. You're not going to have these things that you had last year and the year before. You have to create business every single day. If you are not creating events at least every quarter, you're missing out. People want to buy from you. They just need to have a reason. Okay, next one. And I can't see this. Let me move this over. All right, this is a biggie. Clean images. When you're posting on Facebook, whatever you do not post raw images from your phone. Don't do it. They look horrible. I'm sorry. It's a very, very rare that I can take a picture with my phone and it looks like it is professional quality. They need to go through an editing process if you do not have the proper equipment. I have no endorsement here and I don't even own one. Anybody want to buy me a gem light box? I need one. I need one for my business. You need one too. So better yet, ask the vendor to supply you stock images each time you purchase. You won't be able to photograph and go back and get all that inventory you have in the store. It's just going to be virtually impossible. You'd have to hire a dozen employees and they'd work day in, day out for a couple months to get all that inventory, done in a gem light box and uploaded to where you can categorize it. But going forward, every single piece, every single, style number, call the vendor, say, these are the style numbers I bought. I need stock images for all of them. That needs to be your marketing person's job. That is why they can't work on the floor. They are doing this. They are doing that. If you want to sell on social media, you have to have somebody that's going to do that. So going forward, make sure it is a priority to have images from vendors available. Occasionally, yes, you can take the post. I do understand. I'm even in the situation sometimes where, I do have to get a raw image from the phone, but I hate it. It makes me cringe. If you're going to do it, go outside. If you don't have a light box, take a picture in natural lighting, do it on a white background, do everything you can to make that piece pop. Do not throw a plant around it or hang it on a flower or something like that. It doesn't need it. The jewelry should speak for itself. All righty. Clean images. Woohoo! Look at these. All of these images were free. These are not from vendors. These are things that I will use on my social media or customer social media. So find free images to use on your space, your Facebook, your Instagram, wherever. All of these images were provided by a program that I use that's around $20 a month. I cannot express how important it is for your social media pages to be an extension of the elegance that your store should display. Look at these models. I mean, somebody has taken the time to showcase these pieces, these models, they're wonderful. And your page should look exactly like that. Okay. Building your brand on social media, what your company does. So it serves a variety of purposes, making powerful presentations, tools for convincing and teaching. That's what your social media does. It sure does. You need to make sure that you're doing that. So really, I think that screen was something that I meant to delete and did not. So, but we'll carry on. So host online events. We're going to go back to that. Events, I messed up the order of this. Sorry, guys. Events drive traffic to the store. We already discussed it. You want to push product. Host an online event. Start just as soon as you would in the store. Start preparing 6 weeks out, 3 weeks out, and then a reminder at 1 week and the day before. Encourage people to watch your page for exciting offers or promotions. Give something away. Give a $50 gift card away. You have to spend money to make money. You do. Reward customers for referring people to your event with coupons. So those are very effective, and you can make awesome looking coupons with a lot of these programs, these Photoshop programs. Live videos. Woohoo! I did a lot of live videos. So they're not my favorite thing to do. I don't think you can tell, but I'm a little bit camera shy sometimes, especially when I know that I'm speaking to my local community. So it's a little bit different than speaking to people that I've never met. So post live videos often. You have to have it on your schedule. You have to. Facebook and other social media platforms have an algorithm. If you are not posting live videos, you're being bumped down. So, but when you do, more people are seeing your posts, and you want to make sure that's happening. More posts, more people seeing it, more engagement, that's more money. So not so long ago, to reach customers, you needed to use a platform such as radio, local television, print ads. We still have some use for them, but how lucky are we that we can actually do our own live events for free? We don't have to hire a camera crew to come in. We don't. You pick up your smartphone, you film, you do a raw, unedited, real personable video. People enjoy that. Set a schedule and do this every single day of the week. I did something every Friday called Fashion Friday. So Fashion Friday was really fun. So what I would do is focus on a line in the store that was a fashion line and talk about that. So you'll definitely want to make sure that you are, doing these live events, and we're going to talk a little bit more about them. Successful companies are consistent, nailing down a schedule. Do a live feed weekly. So let's recap all that. Do a live feed weekly. You can be selling stuff. Treat it like it's a QVC. However, I want you to, do a couple little things. Sometimes you're just going to post an informational video. You don't every single week want to be sitting down with your version of a QVC show. People want to have fun. They don't want to sit down and just see you boring, how boring it is to go through piece by piece. Have some informational ones. Do something like, how to clean your jewelry, or where not to wear your jewelry, swimming pools, spas, etc. So nail down a schedule, do a live feed weekly, same time every week. You can do some that are going to be selling. You can be some that are informational. Make sure that your videos are at least 3 minutes. Social media platforms have dynamics that are different than any other platform. Your post will be seen by more and more people if you are doing this consistently. Interacting with your viewers, you need to have somebody in the background, because there might even be questions I'm not seeing them, but somebody in the background, if I were doing a live video, would actually write on a dry erase board, hey, they want to know about, and I would answer the question. It takes a couple people to do these effectively. Make sure that you have at least 2 people, one person that's watching the feed, well, actually 3, one person filming, one person watching the feed, and answering questions or getting those questions for you to answer. And then, of course, you doing the presentation. So make sure you say hello to your customers. Hello, Monica. Hey, Jeff. Those are really important things that makes people feel very special. When people feel special, they will want to buy from you. So again, make this very personable. Engage with your customers. That's how you get loyal customers. Okay. That was a lot, wasn't it? Where to start? Use the easiest platforms first. Do not go out there and try to figure out a TikTok or how to make TikToks. Those are our kids that are doing them. Yeah, maybe eventually you'll become proficient in it. But if you're like me and you're over the age of 35, I'm not going to say how old I am. Use Facebook, use Instagram. Those things are really easy to use. Rethink social media for platforming such as Pinterest. Why? Okay, Pinterest is not where you want to be selling product. Pinterest is a place for people to display product. Yes, maybe you can get your brand name known that way, but who here, and I wish I could see everybody, who here has had the customer come in and they show you this picture off of Pinterest, and that girl is wearing a 5-carat diamond ring, and they come in with their soon-to-be fiance, and they want to buy something for $3,000, and you're like, okay, well, here, this is $3,000. It looks a lot like that. She's like, well, that one looks a lot bigger. Well, yes, that's right. It's like catfishing. Do not use Pinterest to sell product. You can't do it. These people are looking at giant pieces that you are not going to see in the store unless you're special ordering, or unless you have a bulk inventory, or unless they have an unlimited budget. So use platforms like Facebook and Instagram to sell product. You can even open up a Facebook shop and link it with your Instagram. I did that. It didn't bring in a whole lot of sales. It brought in some, but be prepared to start doing shipping if you're going to do that. If you're I really want to express to you, being local, wherever you are, focus on your local community. You need to find ways to give back to your community. That way more people are going to know your name. It's not just so more people know your name, but it does bring in more sales. So let's go to the next slide. Okay. Have a schedule. How brands work online. Maintain consistent daily schedule for content posting. Have one employee designated to just social media. They cannot be expected to work on the floor. When I did marketing for an independent store, I only came to the floor for remounts and diamond engagement rings, or to help with overflow. It's just too much work for a multi-position employee. Your marketing is a full-time job, and they should be compensated accordingly. You cannot expect them to be working the floor and doing your marketing. They are bringing in, or will bring in, because it takes time, as much money, if not more, than those people that are working on the floor. So I told you this was going to be a really quick presentation. So if you have any questions, you've got my, email address, and, you can find find me on Socially Studios on Facebook. So Mike, I'm going to turn it back over to you.
Yeah. If you guys have any questions, you could post them in the group chat, and Jackie will answer them.
Okay. Now, where would I find that group chat? Okay, I see. Okay.
It's hard with your screen shared.
Okay, so let me just lower that.
I can read them out to you. If anyone has questions, I can read them out.
Okay, what is the recommended sites for free or affordable jewelry or model images? Hi, Ivy. So I would recommend maybe Canva. That's one that you can use. It's definitely free. I might pay about $20 a month for it, but there's some images that you can use on Canva that are free. Whatever you do, make sure that you're not just pulling images off the internet, because those have licensing a lot of the times behind it. If people find that you're using images that they are not that you're not authorized to, they're gonna find a way to come and get you. So make sure you're using Adobe's another one. Adobe Spark. You can find Getty Images on there. You're going to pay a little bit of money for those. I would probably start with Canva, but again, your vendors are your best resource. Mike, we have any other questions?
I don't see, oh, here we go. We got a couple questions now.
Yeah,
Do you see them?
I think I'm starting to. They're starting to come in.
Yeah. What is,
What is
what's
a
a
reasonable frequency for posting for a solopreneur? Yeah, every day, every single day. There's nothing wrong with posting once in the morning and once in the evening. You know, you can look up online and find out what are the, and I should have had this for you, what are the best times to post on social media for, you know, retail. And it'll tell you, look up those times and adjust your schedule accordingly. Okay. Daily at least. Do we need to follow back our followers? It's kind of miss it. Follow back our follower and engage with their posts. Yes. Yes. Follow people back. The more you follow back, and then if they're posting content that you don't want to see, you can unfollow them. But yeah, I mean, you're really social media is about community. So these people are going to feel vested in your store. They're going to feel vested with you. They're going to feel like you're their friend. So make sure you're engaging with them and you're following them back. Okay. Any other questions?
Dahlia asks, how you mentioned this earlier, I took over content creation for a local jeweler and lost access to the original Instagram account. Do you have any, do you have any tips for who to contact or reach out to regain access?
So that's why I mentioned it very early on. No, I really couldn't answer that question. I'll tell you what, Dahlia, if you'll email me, I'll reach out to some. I actually have a friend who works for Facebook, and you know, I might be able to reach out and get some answers for you. You can send me an email and I'll see if I can't help you out. I don't have any guarantees, but I can see what I can do. Okay. Any other questions?
Yes, Renee asks, you mentioned changing prices of old products to reflect the current market. What is the strategy to do that?
Well, there's a couple different ways you can go about that. Let's say you have a piece in your store, and I sold a lot of, we went by days. We used a system called ARMS. So, which is, it would tell me how many days we'd have it in there. So I'd have to figure out how many years. We had pieces, we had 10, 12 years. So at that point, I couldn't call the vendor and find an updated price. But if it's a newer piece or something you've had the last couple of years, call the vendor and get an updated price. You may only see that it's changed $50 or $60, but that needs to be reflected in your new retail amount. So you want to cut that old tag off, put that new tag on, reflect that, you know, in your Facebook post. You want to show that new price. If you can't find that, I guess you just kind of want to use an educated guess. And if you've been in jewelry long enough, you'll be able to kind of estimate. Now, but I don't want anybody to lose the sight that, you know, you've got an old, you know, I live in Kentucky, so we've got an old horseshoe ring in the store. Well, it says it's $8.99. I don't care if it's $8.99. We're not going to be able to sell it for $4.99. Just get rid of it. You've paid for it. You've amortized it for years. That product is just sitting in your showcase. Dust it off, clean it off, blow it off, get it out of there. I don't care what you sell it for at that point.
Second, part two to that question.
Yes.
If no one is following, or I think a different question, if nobody is following the brand, is it okay to rebrand completely by removing the Instagram photos and starting over fresh?
Sure, you can. As long as you don't have a huge following now, yeah, that's okay. The independent that I worked for never used Instagram, and it was mostly because something with the account got locked out. I'm telling you, guys, Instagram didn't work for us. It just doesn't. I know that there's some younger people that are using it, but Facebook is really where we saw the dollars. I don't work for that independent anymore. I've kind of started doing this on my own, but you know, just from my experience, Facebook is really, you got to decide what your market is. If your market is that, you know, 25 to 45 or 65 or whatever, Facebook has all the platforms, and you can cross post if you want to. But we didn't get a lot of posts just by putting things on, or a lot of sales by Instagram.
Awesome. Next question from Karen. Do you have any use for Twitter?
Oh, hey, Karen. No. So,
Nope. Nope.
Not for the jewelry store, but I mean, I guess if you're doing something fun and catchy, you know, people might, you know, kind of follow you back. But, you know, I mean, you could always try it. These are free platforms, so why not? If you have success for that, let me know, and then maybe you can do this class. So I'd love to figure it out.
Do you recommend using a scheduling service like Later or Tailwind?
You know, that's totally up to you. Do you have a full-time social media person? If you don't, you need one. So if you can afford to hire one, I don't know what their going rate is. You know, hire somebody, hire a college student who's really good with social media that can come in and, you know, she can work, you know, 32 hours a week. Yeah, you can use some of the scheduling stuff. I know that when I'm posting for clients, I use Constant Contact, and I schedule posts that way. So you know, those two platforms I haven't used. I kind of feel like they're, you know, just a repetition of what I already do. So if you need to, yes, but Facebook will also let you, and most of these other platforms, go ahead and schedule your post for later anyway. So you don't need to pay or open another service to do that.
Awesome. And then Renee asks, what if the pieces are handmade one-of-a-kind items?
Okay, Renee, are you still there? Because I need you to clarify this. Are these clear pieces that you've had for a long time? I'll go ahead and answer this
Yes,
kind of.
yes.
Okay, yes. Okay. If they're handmade, one-of-a-kind items and you've had them for a long time, they haven't sold, you've got to take your vested heart out of that piece because it hasn't sold for a reason. Not everything we buy and not everything we make is appealing to other people. So if you can find it a home, find it a home.